I got to kick this thing off. Can I kick it off? 1, 2, 3, 4. Ladies and gentlemen, listen.
Conversate with Us Radio presents the Man Listen Show. We are the blackest radio show on the internet. We bring you our opinion on topics that affect the black community in an effort to enlighten, enrich, and empower every brother and sister that falls under the sound of our voice. We operate on a no-hating frequency, so be prepared for us to keep it 100% real and 100% black all the time. Please follow the show on Facebook and Instagram at Man Listen Show. Go to YouTube, click that bell icon so you can be notified of upcoming episodes. Make sure you subscribe, leave a comment, and make sure you tell everybody about the blackest radio show on the internet, the Man Listen Show. I'm your host, Marv B. Let's bring the crew in. All right, just me and Aryka today. Shout out to Lab and shout out to C. But did you see where the NABJ, the National Association of Black Journalists, they gave Stephen A. Smith a thumbs down award? Did you see that?
I did.
So they gave him a thumbs down award based on his recent track record of denigrating Black women. He's got a lot of vitriol and fire for Black women, in particular, Jasmine Crockett, Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, and First Lady Michelle Obama. So they called him out about it, right? Mm-hmm. So this dude, in response, goes on Sean Hannity, Fox News Sean Hannity show, to defend himself. And he goes on a whole, this is what I did for NABJ, this is what I do for HBCUs, this is what I do, blah, 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 blah. But he is so oblivious as to why they gave him a thumbs down award, and to even go on Sean Hannity, who a lot of people suspect is a racist white journalist, suspect, because we can't say for sure, but you go on that show to try to explain yourself. The lack of self-awareness is mind-numbing. So I'm going to ask you this. Was the NABJ fair in giving him this thumbs down award? Because I guess in the past they've really only given it to organizations like news organizations, or maybe government entities or something like that. And there's only been 3 individuals who's received this can't call it an award, but they received this thumbs down award. Were they out of line? And do you think his response was justified?
I don't know about out of line. It just seems like childish to me. I can't imagine sitting around being like, who are we giving this thumbs down award to? And it's just like, I don't know. It just seems real petty and unnecessary to me. Like, who don't we like the most? It's very high school. But I mean, I think their choice is valid. Obviously, they have a lot of support for making that decision. And, Stephen A. Smith, I think that he prides himself on the controversy at this point. I think he likes the attention of being at the forefront of controversy and being, kind of this token Black dude that aggravates us and that they get to tote out whenever they want to. I think he's found his home in that space. Maybe he's, from PWI schools, he's used to that space and he likes it. So he's comfortable there or whatever.
He went to HBCU. He went to Winston-Salem State. So he went to
like high school.
Well, I don't know about that either. He's from New York. I don't know what part of New York, but I just, I'm gonna be fair to him. I don't think he's dealt in white space. He's dealing in white spaces now, and he's playing a game that obviously has been successful for him. He's, I think he's got a contract for over $100 million, and more than likely, based off of the contract they gave Pat, I think it was Pat McAfee. The next time Stephen A. Smith comes up for contract, if he doesn't mess it up, he'll probably get super paid again. But it's just like, with Charlemagne, Charlemagne the God, or Leonard, you say things that benefit the machine, meaning you put black people in their place, quote unquote, or you say the things that white people want to say about black people, but they really can't get away with it because they don't have melanin, it can be very lucrative. And you can see that with Stephen A. Smith. You can see it with like the Jason Whitlocks of the world. And I think that the award was apropos. Now, I don't know if they necessarily wanted it out on the internet like that. You know, it looks like somebody took a video of it at the gala. It looks like it was at the gala, whatever, and they took a video of it and then put it out on the internet. But the one thing that I'm glad that the NABJ is doing is they standing on it. Yeah,
Yeah.
they may not have wanted it out like that, but they standing on it because it fits.
Yeah. And obviously he went on Sean Hannity because he doesn't want to be asked the hard questions. He doesn't want to have the difficult conversations. He doesn't want to actually be asked real questions and get the pushback or even get involved in the conversations that could actually, you know what I mean, maybe smooth things over a little bit with the black community because he could have chosen a different platform. He could even went with Charlemagne and gotten a little bit harder questions than on Sean Hannity, but I don't know. He made his choices, like you said, and I can't even hardly take him serious anymore once I found out on last week tonight that he's been on soap operas for like the last 10 years. So I can't even take him seriously anymore anyway. So
Now, see, okay. Now you done made me defend this dude twice.
yes, go ahead.
I don't have an issue with that.
I
Um,
just think it's funny.
I think we are allowed to be who we want to be, no matter what that is. You
Mhm.
know, that's, because if we do that, then it says, okay, you're an attorney. What are you doing trying to write books? What are you trying to do about writing fiction books that don't really deal with the law? Who are you to say this? Um, I actually kind of think it's dope that he got into, the soap opera space. Like he grew up being a big fan. I think it was
Mhm.
like Days of Our Lives or something like that. So I think it's kind of dope that he was able to transition into doing that. But that doesn't alleviate the fuckery that he does, especially when it comes to black women. You know, Trump called him like low IQ, couple other things, basically saying, you are a dumbass. And you say, well, that's just the president, it's not that big a deal. But then you take every opportunity on your
Mhm.
platform to go after black women. You take every opportunity to be extra hard on black athletes, and we don't really see you do the same to non-black athletes. And I don't there's a certain segment of black people, especially those gatekeeping Negroes, that they feel as if it's their job to hold black people to a higher standard because we have to get white approval. And I need you to be two times as good as the others. So by me holding you to this higher level of accountability, I'm doing a good service to the black race. And it's
Mhm.
all bullshit because really what you're doing is trying to make it seem as if you're the good Negro for white folks so that you can continue to get paid, you can continue to get promoted, you can continue to get access to the things that comes with being closer to white folks. And I see right through it.
Well, yeah, that's the thing though. When you start acting like that, you start acting like you and what you believe and how you move is the standard, and everybody else should be moving in accordance with how you do or how you think. And then, like you said, holding us to a, we got to be better than and all this. But then, who gets to define what's better than? Who gets to define what's the good Negro? And he thinks that he's able to put himself in that position to decide what that is. And I don't think that that's my point. Like, I can't take you seriously if you're trying to hold people into this niche that you created, and now we all got to live up to this standard that you think we should be living up to, or that the machine thinks that we should be living up to. But then you get to do whatever it is that you want to do and be whoever it is you want to be, and then we either got to be that in accordance with that, or we got to get criticized, especially Black women, because it's like, oh, you can't speak like this, can't dress like this, can't act like this, can't look like this, or else it's not in conformity with what we think we're supposed to be perpetuating in this society. And then once you do that, once you start trying to make us all the same, then you take away our individuality and our creativity. And I mean, that's the whole point of being Black, is that we're at the forefront of everything. That's like great because we have so much creativity. We have so many differences that make us great, and adds to the spark of this whole life experience. But he doesn't have that much spark.
Yeah. And I mean, I saw some people that said they thought it was petty on the NABJ's part. They said, okay, what does it actually benefit? And they called out the NABJ because you remember the NABJ, they had Trump on there, and Trump acted a complete ass. Yeah, during the during the election season, he's running against, they brought him on. And I saw on threads where somebody highlighted where, okay, yes, the NABJ did do this, but you have to recognize that that was a different board that made that decision. This is a new board that has totally different ideas, that has a totally different direction that they want to take the organization in. And, I'm not one of those people that says, okay, because you did something wrong, unless it's just totally egregious, that because you may have made a misstep here, that you can't have a voice about something else. Like there's some people who, the mistake that you made, I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. Dr. Eddie Glaude, don't nobody want to hear what he got to say. You see what it got us, right? So when he when he gets on TV and starts crying and doing all this stuff about the condition that the United States is in because of Trump, don't nobody want to hear what you got to say. When you are a Stephen A. Smith who repeatedly goes after Black people, in particular Black women, in a much more forceful way than you do anybody else, you put yourself in a position where nobody wants to hear what the hell you got to say, And at the end of the day, yes, you could be more well-rounded than just what you are focused on, right? He's a sportscaster.
Right.
But now ESPN, I mean, he started off, his real claim to fame was basketball. He was a basketball insider. He started in Philadelphia. Well, I think that's where he really became known. I'm sure he started in other, small municipalities, but he was in Philadelphia. He was with the 76ers. He was with that news organization. And then that parlayed to him getting into ESPN. But basketball was where his primary focus was. Now they got him doing football. They'll have him doing baseball. They even try to throw him into boxing. Right. And if people are like, oh, what do you really know other than you giving your opinion like somebody else about the situation? And I think all of that went to his head because he got his own podcast now where he can say what he wants on his own platform. And a lot of it is about politics that don't nobody want to hear about. And it even got to the point where he thought he could really run for president. You remember when he was saying that, hey, I'm considering putting my name in the hat.
Yeah. I think that's one of the problems today with people who have a platform. Instead of using that platform to expound on their expertise, they just start branching out into just talking about whatever it is they want to talk about. And I mean, that's the thing. Like you're saying, you could be wrong or misstep about a topic and still be an expert on basketball or whatever it is you're supposed to be talking about, and then veer back into your area of expertise. Like, I mean, I can sit here and talk about the law all day long and then be wrong about something that has to do with sports, but you also got to admit when you're wrong, or when you're out of your depth, or when you don't have, the background or the, education to really get into a deep conversation about some things. I have an opinion, but this opinion is unsupported because I haven't done the research, I haven't done the work, I haven't done all the things that I've done in this level, in this area of expertise that I have. But we have all these people out here, influencers and whoever else with microphones, who just get to sit up here and tell people what their opinions are. But it just be when you get to a certain level, I think it comes with a certain level of responsibility to make sure that people know that, hey, this is just my personal opinion. This isn't supported by facts, research, or anything like that. And he doesn't do that. And then instead he doubles down on being loud and wrong and calling out people just because it gets that media attention. That's what I say. I think he's an attention whore. I think he just likes the controversy. I think he likes the being in the headlines or whatever. However he made it there, he still at this point should be talking about basketball, but instead he's talking about politics and all this other stuff.